What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Let's get into it, okay? Let's talk about it here. Here we are at about $96.2 thousand right now. It is the 18th of February. Fresh into the new day, 21 hours, 32 minutes left. Yes, the 18th, you can see it down there. Beautiful. Daily RSI here, finding support continually at this 38 area. And while it was something that was nice, back in the day, we found some support here, it was rather immaculate moves. We haven't really had that so much here. And it makes you wonder. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but it makes you wonder if we might see that little break of this range, do something that's a bit different, quote unquote, find support at the oversold zone, another area that we found support before, give Bitcoin a kind of last shakeout, and crypto by default, overall, the whole space, a last little shakeout right before we rip. I mean, that sounds familiar, right? I mean, that sounds pretty damn familiar. Let's see if we've got any moments like that. I don't know, a little last dip before you rip here. That was a pretty intense dip right there before he ripped, although that's kind of different. That was from a lot higher of prospects. All I'm trying to say, though, is that I suppose it is possible. I'm probably considering it more now than I've considered it really throughout this whole range. It is possible that we go lower. The only thing holding me back from thinking that we go lower is that I think a lot of people are expecting that we go lower. And generally, whenever a lot of people, the herd is expecting one thing, the herd mentality is wrong, and we go the other way, right? And I feel like if we look at the crypto fear and greed index here, at least as defined by CoinMarketCap, it's at a 38 read. The last time that we were at low levels like this, okay, we were at low points in Bitcoin's price, low points here in Bitcoin's price, low points there. It went lower over time here, but it was at a relative low point and it still went higher. And we've been at these fearful levels for quite some time now, right? If we go to a 30-day basis, we've basically been in these fearful levels since the beginning of this month, right? For over the past like 2 weeks or at least 2 weeks, something like that, right? I assume that it's just a matter of time before we move out of these fearful levels and up to greedy levels, and the only thing that's going to bring that is price increasing, right? Not decreasing. If we go to the crypto fear and greed index on alternative.me, it's going to blind your retinas for a second. Prepare yourselves. I'm sorry, I should have said something beforehand. But this one's at about a 47. I like the crypto fear and greed index more than this one because I feel like it's more accurate. I feel like not because it adds to my point that it's fearful, but just if you look at it, it's a bit more dynamic, right? If we go to the all-time history on this, it hasn't existed as long. It's only been around since 2033 or 2023. But you hit these extreme levels of greed and the levels of fear a lot more often. It's a lot more dynamic in that way, and they relate very well with relative highs and relative lows too. Relative areas of taking profits, relative areas of getting in and investing, right? Getting back in. This, however, this one, I feel like it's good. It's nice. It's just not as dynamic. It's better as like it's more of like a slower moving. It takes a longer or more stuff, more negative things in the market to actually get to a fearful level in this, right? Being at a 47 in the bull market is fearful. In my opinion, it is fearful. I think this is a better representation, but even still, I think that we might be at some of the most fearful levels that we've been at throughout this whole bull market right now, genuinely. So that in itself doesn't really allow me to think that we're going lower. That in itself doesn't. But we look at the charts, we look at the RSI, this is what makes me think that we could. All that aside, it's what makes me think that we could. This kind of does look like that. But assuming that other people are looking at the charts too, other people are getting bored with Bitcoin, right? I'm thinking that movements like this don't make people bullish. They probably bore people and make them sell at the wrong time. A scenario like that would allow me to consider that we would actually break out to the upside. So I don't know, man. Are we going to break out to the downside? Are we going to break out to the upside? One way or another, it's going to happen, right? I'm not going to call for up and down and then be right no matter what. I hate those guys, right? I don't want to be one of those guys. I'm just saying be prepared for a breakout move that could take us. It could take us lower than any low that we've experienced since this consolidation phase happened back in November. It could take us lower than anything. We could be back below 89,000, 88,000 as soon as it happens, swift and quick, and then we're back up by the end of the week. We're at higher highs. This week would close green if it happened today, tomorrow, whatever. If it happens at the end of the week, well, then we wouldn't close the week green, obviously. But it would be, anytime that we have these dips down, it literally comes back in that same day. Quite literally that same day. So my thoughts are If it happens, be prepared for it. There will probably be some kind of narrative, right? Like something with Trump or something with the global economy that gets misunderstood or over fearized, right? Like we're fearing it too much, and then reality slaps us in the face that nobody actually cares about whatever those fear dynamics are at play. It was just there to shake you out and scare you, so don't get shaken out. I'm not saying this is going to happen. I'm just talking about it as if it were happening, because if it does happen, I don't want the same people that sold these lows to sell this low. If you made the mistake once before, twice before, you're not doing it again. I didn't sell these lows. I was buying these lows. I hope you do too, if it happens. My expectation, if I was to make a call and put my money on the line, would be that we go up. I think that we're about to break out to the upside. So even if we go down here, even if we do what I just talked about, I'm not going to be like, haha, I was right, because I'm not. That's not what I'm calling for. I'm calling for us to go up. I only discuss that just in case, to prepare ourselves mentally so we don't make the bad move. And I draw the line down here, but the truth is, man, it could go way, we could see a crazy drop. I don't think that we go anything really below like 85K. Even then, I don't even think we go to 85K. But as long as we're above 85K, I suppose things are fine, right? Anything lower than that, we might have to start talking about the beginning of a bear market. But that's a different story. As the Japanese Prime Minister would say, I don't like to answer questions in theoreticals, right? I think that we will break up to the upside. And here I am speaking in theoreticals still. On the RSI, what we're looking for is a move, a bounce off of this 40 area, and to get that we would have to close today green. Today, specifically, the day of Tuesday, the 18th of February, would have to close green. Not only would it have to close green, but we'd have to also continue to grow from there. We would have to continue to see prices that are above 98,000, building into 100,000 from here. We can't go below this low again, because if we do, this bounce from the 40, it's not a bounce, it's actually just a momentary hold of us going to the oversold zone inevitably and seeing that drop that we were talking about, right? So if you want to avoid all of that, and I think that we will, we want today to close green. Today closing green or red does not mean that you're automatically absolved of going lower and that you're going to pump, but it would look good, okay? 4 hour time frame, if we're looking at this here on the 4 hour, lower lows in the RSI. Ooh, there we go, nice. Yeah, good stuff. Okay, cool. So if you look here on your 4 hour closing, oh, never mind. I was going to say, and it's actually still kind of good, but what I was excited about was I thought this closing period was actually higher than this one. And on the 4 hour basis, we actually have a lower low in the RSI. And to be fair, these are pretty similar. They're actually very similar. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but this white line's at $95,669,000. This 4 hour close at 95.59. I don't think that that disparity is that big on an asset of this value. So you essentially close at the same area while definitely having not anywhere near the same levels of the RSI and difference here. So that is a form of hidden bullish divergence, I would say. Hidden bullish divergence often marks continuation. We're not really in a trend, we're just moving sideways. But when I say continuation, I mean continuation of like an upward or a downward trend, not a sideways trend. If this is the beginning of a trend, maybe you are moving up here. But again, that would mean that this move here, maybe today, not just today would it close green. Would that be nice? It'd be nice if today closes green at least. But if we can get today or any day this week to close above $98,000, $98,500, that would very much encourage me to believe that we are in fact moving up and that we are not in fact moving down. And I would suspect that we do move up. Again, that's my clear expectation there. Let's see. By the end of the week, if we break out today or tomorrow, by the end of the week, I can see Bitcoin being at about 102,000 to 107,000, somewhere in that area, likely closer to about 102 to 103, somewhere in there. And then going into, that's the end of this week, which would be over here, right, on this day. That's the end of this week. So coming up into this area by the end of this week, maybe as high as here. But then going into the end of the month, which is over here, this area, I think that we will continue to grow. We will either be pressing all-time highs. If not, I actually would expect that by the end of February that we are breaking out to new all-time highs, because we will officially be breaking out of this downtrend here, right? So whenever we move up, it's different. It's a little bit different, right? Here we've got this rather ugly phase of consolidation, of which we thought we were breaking out back here, moving up, but we weren't really breaking out. We were still just in the same old phase of consolidation. Now we have these higher lows here. We have these lower highs here. It's kind of like a triangle of sorts. When we break out, I would assume that this, even if we don't see new all-time highs, that would be confirmation that we are breaking out to the upside. Everybody's fearful that we're breaking out to the downside. So anything like this will leave the bears in disbelief until we see new all-time highs. I'm telling you guys, it's going to happen. The bears might be loud now, and I'm not really aware because I'm not paying attention to socials right now so much. But the bears might be loud at this level. They're going to get louder at this level. They'll be their loudest here, calling for a triple top, and then boom, then we rip. But I think all I'm trying to say by this is I think it'll be increasingly obvious that we are moving to the upside because of this downtrend that we're breaking out, right? We didn't really break a trend here. Like we had this kind of weird like consolidation kind of, but we didn't break it really decisively, right? It was kind of weird. So we're just, and the reason why it was weird is because we're still in the same phase of consolidation here. At least that's my theory. So when we do break out of this downtrend, this relative downtrend, this overall consolidation phase, likely this week, with a price above 98,000, 98,500. If we do that, I would think if we can do that by the end of this week, and I think that we will, we might even do it by the end of today. If we're up here by the end of this week, if we're up at higher prices by the end of this week, I would think that with this breakout move ensuing by the end of the month, we certainly would be at new all-time highs, the minimum target of which is at about 115K, the maximum of which I could expect to see would be at about 130K. I know, it's the 18th of February. We have about 10 and a half days, almost 11 days left in this month. And to call for 130K might seem crazy. We're at 96K right now. I get it. It might seem crazy, but this is where I'll end it, right? I think I ended my last video on the same notion here. So let's take the low here. Not the low, but when you started moving up right here. The low of this day to the high of this day. So that's one day there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. All right. We've got 10 days left in the month, but this happened over 7 days, okay? 7 days, not from the low. Again, I didn't take it from the low. I took it from the low of the beginning day. So this, if it began today, which I think it's debatable that it begins today, if we can close above 98,500. Watch for that, you guys. 98,500, 98,000. Very key level to break because it takes us above this range here, breaking out of this relative range, breaking out of this overall range, breaking out of the overall range. And if we saw a very similar move to what we saw here in the course of just 7 days, not even the whole move, not even from the absolute low to the absolute high, just where the meat of the move happened for 7 days there, that would take us up to 127K if we started our move today by the 24th of February. So when I say 130K by the end of this month is possible, I'm not saying that for clicks. I'm not saying that for likes. You can hit the like button. You can do all the clicks you want to if that encourages that. But the purpose of saying that is I actually mean it. That's a target that we've had since the beginning of this month. I'm going to stick to it until the month ends. We'll see how accurate it is. At any rate, whether it's accurate or not, I do expect that we will see prices around 114K at a minimum, 130K at a maximum. That's all I got for you. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Bye.